Hey guys, WebHeadGaming here, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Spider-Man 2000. This time, we are tackling the second issue, Sting of the Scorpion.
Jonah, I have shot to the bank robbery.
Parker, shut up and dial 911. Scorpion's here, and you have to...
Uh-oh, Spidey. Scorpion's headed out for old J. Jonah Jameson from day one, blaming Jameson for being stuck in his scorpion suit. Spidey had better get there quickly, or JJJ may end up in the obituaries of his own paper.
So the goal of the stage is very simple. Just reach the end before Scorpion reaches JJ. It's very easy, the time limit is lenient, and the stage itself is very short. It's even shorter if you ignore all the guards, so feel free to ignore them as they don't matter at all. All that matters is getting to the end before the time's up. Now, for those who are unaware, the reason why Scorpion hates James Jonah Jameson so much is because JJ at one point plotted to expose Spider-Man, which involves Mac Gargan in a Scorpion suit. Short to the point, it failed, and now Mac's stuck in the suit, so yeah.
Hey, keep your eyes open. The sooner we take out Spider-Man, the sooner the boss pays us.
Another fun fact to note is that Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, works at the Daily Bugle, and his boss is James Jonah Jameson. Go figure.
Get away, Gargan! Your time is running out!
Oh yeah, and the heads will start talking to remind you to hurry up. Overall though, it's a very simple stage, not hard at all. Why is that health pack there? There's no point to it, this is the end of the stage. Haha.
Listen, Gargan, it's a new millennium. Lots of high-tech. There may be some way we can get you out of that suit!
You put me in this suit. Now I'm going to make you pay.
Get over it, Gargan!
You ruined my life, so now I'll end yours.
Leave him alone, Chuckles.
Butt out, Webhead. Spider-Man? I asked for the police, and I get this?
And now we are at our first boss fight in the game, and it is against the Scorpion. You may notice that JJ also has a health bar, and that's because the main gimmick of this boss fight is that Scorpion will mostly focus on JJ and try to kill him, and it's our duty to make sure that he doesn't lay a finger on him, because if he depletes his health bar, JJ will die, and we'll have to do this boss fight all over again. You may also notice that I'm constantly using these objects and throwing them at Scorpion, and I'm also letting Scorpion break the objects for me, and that's because there is a comic book in this room, and it's only obtainable by getting rid of every single object in the room. Make sure you do this before Scorpion reaches half health, otherwise you won't get the comic book. As for Scorpion himself, he is the first boss, so he shouldn't be too hard. Just be very wary of his tail. He will do either a downward swipe like right there, that will do a lot of damage, or he'll spin his tail. Both attacks can be easily dodged by jumping away from him. When you try to go up to Scorpion and actually attack him with your melee attacks, make sure you only do 2 hits per attack, because what will happen is that when you try to go for a third attack on Scorpion, he will counter you with a punch, so be wary of that. You'll see me do this a lot with the bosses. I'll bring out the boxing gloves, and I'll do this kick-punch combo. That's actually surprisingly powerful, and it's really effective for a lot of the bosses in this game. So if you want to drain the health bars of the bosses really quickly, use the kick, punch, and boxing gloves. They are super, super strong. This is another thing that I must advise when you're fighting the bosses. Make sure you don't jump onto walls, because they'll start doing this attack where they will try to get you off the walls. And each of these no wall crawling attacks are pretty powerful. This one, however, can allow you to cheese Scorpion. So yeah. And he's dead. Overall, not a hard boss fight at all.
I don't know what you're trying to pull by saving my life, but it won't work.
Oh, you're just too clever for me, JJ.
There he is, officers! The man behind the Science Expo heist! Shoot him now! Shoot him!
JJ, you're out of the wheel. I mean it this time.
Hold it, Spider-Man. I don't want to believe that you pulled off the heist today, but I've got to make sure.
Daredevil, I haven't got time to explain.
Just tell me your side of it. I'll know if you're lying.
How am I supposed to know you're the real Daredevil?
What?
Listen, it's true. A Spider-Man made off with Octavius' new invention, but not the Spider-Man, not me. Somebody's framed me. Why? I don't know yet. And if New York's finest catch me, it may be too late.
Well, then you'd better get going. NYPD is coming fast.
That's it? You believe me?
I don't have to believe you. I know you aren't lying.
But how?
Let's just say you've got your superpowers, and I've got mine. I'll spread the word about your innocence. Not that it'll help with the cops. Good luck.
Since when have I had any? Uh-oh.
And now we come to the main portion of the issue, which is the helicopter chase levels. Now, Spider-Man is still kind of getting blamed for what happened at the Science Expo, and so the police decides to send everything at him. They have cops on the rooftops, they have all these helicopters after him, and then we have this light blue helicopter constantly chasing him throughout the next few levels. Now, this helicopter will fire its machine gun and missiles at you, and it's in your best interest to avoid the machine guns, and especially the missiles, at all times. One of the annoying things about this helicopter chase sequence is that when you're on the side of a building, and if the helicopter starts firing at you, there's really no way to avoid it unless you're at the corner to the next side of the building. So you might as well just take chip damage at that point. Blech. Right there was a comic book. Just stand on top of that building, and the helicopter will fire a missile at it, and boom, there's your comic book. And now we come to this part where you're on the side of a wall, and this helicopter is constantly barraging you with missiles and whatnot. And there's also these searchlights. Now, these searchlights will fire machine guns at you if you get caught in them, and they do quite a bit of damage, so be very careful. And especially be careful when you're crawling on these wooden parts, because if the missile hits you dead center while you're on these wooden parts of the building, it will kill you instantly. But luckily I survived that because I wasn't like dead center. So I only took like a huge chunk of damage instead, which is better than nothing. So now when you come to this checkpoint, the perspective will change and there will be this reticle that will fire at you. Just make sure you're out of its way. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. Now, I kind of fucked up here and almost died because I kind of let the searchlights get me, and yeah, ow, ow, ow. I cannot believe I survived that. Now, for this part, it could be hectic if you don't know what to do. Just web zip up. It's pretty simple.
Hello? Stealing isn't my style.
And that's really all I have to say about these levels. I mean, it's basically the same thing over and over. You just run away from the helicopter. So I'm going to talk about some of the other aspects to this game, like the music. I really love the music to this game. It really reflected the times. It's just really good. My only complaint is that it is pretty repetitious when you're playing it, but it's kind of repetition that I can get used to. Real quick here, go to this crane, and you'll find an Easter egg and another comic book.
Gee, I wonder who those pumpkin bombs belong to.
This crane holds the secret lair to the Green Goblin, who is one of Spider-Man's most famous arch enemies. And by going in it, we uncovered not just another comic book, but we also uncovered some Spidey armor, which basically gives Spider-Man an extra health bar, so now he can take twice as much damage, and it won't count towards his main health bar, which is pretty sweet. It makes the game easier than it already is. Now, This Spidey armor was actually introduced before this game. I believe it originated in one of the last few episodes of the Spider-Man animated series that went on in the 90s. I used to watch that show all the time, and I actually remember this episode. Basically, it's basically the finale, and Spider-Man meets all of these alternate universe versions of himself, which includes the Spidey armor Spider-Man. And that Spider-Man was actually kind of like Tony Stark, from aka Iron Man, in which he had all of this fame, he was rich, he's got a girlfriend, and his Uncle Ben was actually alive in his universe, which is pretty unique. That was a bullshit comic book, by the way. How the fuck is someone supposed to know that you can move to that side of the building, go downwards, and you'll uncover another comic book? How is someone supposed to know that without extreme curiosity or by looking at a guide? What the fuck, Neversoft? Aside from that blunder, this is pretty fucking easy. Just climb up the structure, avoid a reticle, and you'll reach the top within seconds. I guess the developers intended you to do it the hard way, but I don't know. I question their design choice here, because they actually had goons and whatnot all over the place here, and when you could just crawl up, it's like, what's the point of this level? So reach this crate, it will fire a missile at it, and you'll go on to the final chase sequence. Graphically, Spider-Man 2000 hasn't aged all that well. I mean, it still looks good for a PlayStation game made in 2000, but in terms of nowadays, it definitely does look dated. I do like the colors and whatnot. It's a pretty colorful game. The models look pretty good. They look very comic book-like, which I do appreciate. The Dreamcast and PC version actually has updated graphics, which definitely makes the characters look better. Although I still kind of like the charm of the N64/PS1 graphics, if you ask me. Speaking of different versions of this game, oh, by the way, there's another comic book, just use your webbing, and you'll reach that one. The N64 version actually doesn't have cutscenes at all. Like, there's no cutscenes, and that's because of the fact that the system couldn't render cutscenes. It just couldn't, so they instead make it more like a comic book, which definitely makes for a more authentic experience. However, I personally like the cutscenes more, just because they're so entertaining. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. Tune in next time as we go to the next issue. And with that being said, this is WebHeadGaming, and I'll see you guys in the next part.
Hey, you gonna pay for that tower? Uh-oh, spider sense tingling. One more step and it's a load of web fluid sticking you to that wall.
Well, it's not the most romantic proposition I've ever had.
Black Cat. Oh, I'm so glad it's you.
Good to see you too, big boy, but you got a problem. Venom's got control of the Jumbotron in Times Square. He's been ranting for hours with a message for you.
Venom's ugly face on that big screen? Now that's scary.
That's not all. Rhino's on a rampage over at Omnitech as well.
What is this, the bad guy Olympics? Look, Times Square is on the way to Omnitech. Let's find out what Venom's up to, and then we'll tackle Rhino.
The Venom Marathon continues on the biggest TV in New York. We're shouting out to the whole big rotten apple here, people.
Sad thing is, he'll probably get his own talk show for this.
So we've got this beautiful redhead. You know her. She's one of those famous bimbos. We have decided that this poor little lassie has 24 hours to live. 24 hours! Oh, by the way, her name is Mary Jane Parker.
No. Mary Jane?
So, just in case someone, I don't know who it could be, if any of you type-wearing freaks out there want to save little Miss Fashion Model, then bring it on! Meanwhile, New Yorkers, the Venom Marathon will continue!
Listen, I realize what this means. Forget about helping me with Omnitech. I can handle Rhino.
Rhino by yourself? Thanks, Cat, but no thanks. Look, being Spider-Man has given me a lot and taken a lot away, but one thing never changes. My responsibility to use my powers for others before myself, no matter what the cost. There are innocent people at Omnitech, and they need our help right now. I won't let them down. Then I'll stop Venom. And this time, it's for the last time.